and we're going to open this, flatten the board. This is my machine waste board, and I've just lifted up a piece of scrap off of it. It's got quite a few little holes and different things in it, and this has probably been on there for probably a couple months, and it's, I don't know, 40-50 projects at least on there, so it's all cut up. So anyway, I'm going to flatten it, and basically I just have a square that goes out past the outsides of it. My job size is set to 24 inches by 24 inches, just a 1/4 inch. I'm using the center for an offset. And then over here, the tool paths, I've just got one pocket tool path. And there it is, got the outside piece. I'm going to cut 0.01 on it and use a 2-inch planer bit. And it's just one cut, so just one pass, so it'll run one time and then that's done. If I need to go deeper, I just lower the blade just a little bit deeper. I've made mistakes in the past by making this trying to be too aggressive with it. You're better off to just kind of eyeball it and say, okay, I need to run that one more time, and that way you get done. Otherwise, you'll end up taking an 1/8 inch off of it, and so there's that. So anyway, that thing is ready to roll and good to go. So we'll save that tool path and put it on our thumb drive pocket, and using that one, so we're going to close that, save the tool path, and there we go. Select the tool path up there and save the tool path. We'll put it in our plaques folder and go up here, and there's our Regatta single cuts, and we'll just call that the Flatten spoil board, Flatten Jig board. Okay, so it's ready to go, and we'll save that. We're going to make some plaques with the Regatta, and this is the ship, and this is the Ranger emblem, which is burnt by laser. This is a little tag, and then there's a border that I chamfer. So once I've laid this out, this is like the 3rd year of making these, so these are my tool paths for this project. Let me go ahead and tag that so we'll stick around here a little bit. You can V-carve the ship, which is that one, the profile tag, which is that one there, and then the chamfer, which is around the edges of that. So those 3 will run, and then I'll run the V-carve text only file, which would be this one right here, and it'll basically cut that, and then it'll be ready to go. Of course, the first thing I would do would be to square up all my stock and get it ready where it sits in the jig, and do the keyhole slots, and then this is what I would do with that. So these are all of the V-carve things, and then when I got ready to save them to a file, I save them to my thumb drive, and in that thumb drive there's a Regatta file, and I have all my single cuts in a file here. This is the folder that I've kind of cleaned up. Basically, I just have your text 1, your plaque 2, plaque 3, plaque 4, and that's just the text that it's carving out. And then I have this V-bits, which is a combination of the V-bits that does the ship, it does the little tag around the text, and it does the outside. And then of course it will cut that one on there, so there won't be any bit changes on that. It's just basically setting it in, set it height, and go with that. First thing we'll do is before we start any of that, will be the keyholes plaque, and cut that out, and that's kind of organized like that. So the process should go pretty straightforward. Let's go to I've copied that to a thumb drive, so let's take that to the shop and get busy with it. All right, I've got the 2-inch end mill going out. It's surfacing this bed. I set my allowance to 0.05, and just barely taking one little bit of light cut. This is my jig board. I screw all kinds of things and nails things into it. These are using 23 gauge pin nails, and it's basically going to go through there and cut out probably 100 of these pin nails. They're relatively soft. They don't seem to affect the bits too much. I did have a couple of brass screws that were broke off in here, but the bit went over them just fine. If you hit a brass screw with with a 1/8 inch bit. It'll sometimes snap it. But anyway, so a lot of my jigs are done with nails and screws and the brass screws. Once I figure out that it's going to be safe to use, and I'll put some steel screws in there. But anyway, so this is going around here and it's cleaning this up. It's doing a good job of it. It's really flat. When I put that spool board on there, use some nylon lock nuts and bolts and put it into aluminum track and then glue those two pieces together with wood glue. So they're in real good shape, and we'll get on to the process here now. Okay, it worked out perfect. There's over 100 sharp little stickers sticking up on that thing, and that did a good job of cleaning them up. I could probably run it one more time if I wanted it really smooth, but I'm not that considerate about. Anyway, box did a good job. Keeps all the dust inside the shop and inside the box, and no dust in my deal. So whenever you're doing MDF and stuff like that, and you're wondering, oh my goodness, all this dust around, build you an enclosure, and that'll take care of that. So I'm ready to mount my jig up in there and put my plaques in there and get ready to start cutting some plaques. I was sitting there talking about the dust. I looked, well, I got dust on my screen. What's going on? Well, the hose had come off the collector over there, so you're all the time having to fiddle with stuff. But anyway, works good. The jig board is flattened. I'm gonna put my other jig board on top of there, and we'll get to commencing making jigs. What's nice about this is this jig board is straight with that, so that's just my fence. I can line it up there, and everything comes out nice and straight. Put my little cams in there, and let's get busy. All right, I'm ready for the keyhole saw. Couldn't find my keyhole. Went through all my parts, cleaned them all out, separated, organized, put stuff away that I didn't need. And sometimes it's good. Then I'd go down to Lowe's, and they had one on the shelf. Thank you, Lowe's, for having at least one on the shelf. And sorry, the next guy out there, there's no longer more than just one. But anyway, so there's my keyhole saw cutter. My other one, I don't know where it's at. It's around here somewhere. See ya. Let's get to it. All right, we are moving over to the V-bit. The V-bit goes around and cuts the border out, and it cuts the ship, and then it cuts this little tag thing that goes down and does a nice job of putting that in there. And then I switch over to the text, and it goes in and it carves that. I think this whole 13 plaques took me about 5 hours of finishing and sanding, and then the carving. You know, while you're making these plaques up for these regattas, and got 11 more to go, you can go through the trailer, because I just got back from a boat trip this last Saturday. We had 17 go on this, and that was a lot of fun. Kayaks came back pretty good shape. Just, I mean, they were really clean pretty much. I haven't got a little mud on it, but not too bad. And then just got to get the stuff out of it, hang the vest up, let everything dry out, get all your gear out, let it dry, and we're getting ready for the regatta. So I've got some stuff to take to the regatta and drop off to some folks, and getting all my dry bags aired out, and put the fishing poles away, and dry out the emergency bag, and yeah. And even if you've got dry sacks, sometimes they get a little bit of moisture. So there you go. All right, after I got them out of the V-bit and the CNC, I brought them over here, and I went over the back keyhole saw, and then over all the carving with that little brush right there. It's a Harbor Freight wire little brush, and that does a great job of cleaning up the sides and everything. And then I lightly went over it with the tableau just real fast on the two faces. And then I loaded up the laser, and let the laser go in there and start burning the Ranger emblem in there on the plaques. Got one left to do, and I'll come out here and put the other two on here and shoot them with a light coat of lacquer on the back, and then turn them over and do the face and the edges and all that good stuff, and it'll be ready to go. All right, got 3 coats of lacquer on that. Real quick, it's some of that brushing lacquer. It's Minwax brushing lacquer in that black can. I thinned it about 15% with some lacquer thinner, and sprayed 2 coats on the back side and about 3 coats on the front. And there you go. The little laser emblem came out nice looking. It's carved and cedar, beautiful. See ya. All right, lightly sanded with that. It's a little 400 grit foam board just to make them really smooth, and then blew them off the compressor. And I'll decide tomorrow whether I want to put another coat on them or not. I think they're looking just fine as they are. So it's 2:09 right now. Started about 8:30, probably 9 o'clock, so 5 hours in getting them carved out and finished. And that was pretty much non-stop. So, all right, there we go.